In the vast expanse of space, humanity had always believed we were alone. That was until the day the Galactic Empire's warships emerged from hyperspace, their metallic hulls gleaming against the backdrop of stars. We had established our first interstellar medical outpost, the Hope's Haven, dedicated to providing aid to any spacefaring species in need. It was our way of extending an olive branch to the cosmos. The medical ship floated gracefully in orbit around Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon, where we had discovered the first signs of extraterrestrial microbial life. Dr. Sarah Chen, the ship's lead physician, stood at the observation deck, sipping her morning coffee when the proximity alarms blared. At first, she thought it was another routine alert about incoming space debris. She was wrong. 3 massive vessels, each the size of a small city, materialized less than 1,000 kilometers away. Their design was unlike anything human engineers had ever conceived, all sharp angles and dark alloys that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The Empire's insignia, a spiral galaxy wrapped in chains, was emblazoned on their hulls. This is Hope's Haven, a neutral medical facility. We offer assistance to all species, Sarah broadcast on all frequencies. The response came in the form of a warning shot that vaporized one of their communication arrays. The message was clear. The Empire had no interest in peace. As panic spread through the medical ship's corridors, something extraordinary happened deep beneath Earth's oceans. In the Mariana Trench, where human submarines had never fully explored, ancient sensors detected the threat. Structures that had lain dormant for millennia began to stir. Back on Hope's Haven, Sarah and her crew scrambled to evacuate their patients. "We have 15 minutes before their weapons are fully charged," warned James, their tactical officer. His hands flew across the holographic controls, trying to squeeze more power into their failing shields. "The Earth Defense Fleet won't reach us in time." But Earth had more defenders than anyone knew. As the Empire's ships moved into attack formation, the ocean floors around the world began to split open. From the depths rose massive shapes, their surfaces covered in symbols that glowed with otherworldly blue light. Humanity's secret guardians, left behind by an ancient civilization that had seen something in our species worth protecting, were finally awakening. The crew of Hope's Haven watched in awe as these colossal warships, each nearly twice the size of the Empire's vessels, ascended through Earth's atmosphere. Their design was organic yet mechanical, like living metal that flowed and shifted. They moved with impossible grace for their size, taking up defensive positions around the medical ship. Sarah felt a strange resonance in her mind, a whisper of connection to these ancient protectors. The Empire's ships hesitated, clearly caught off guard by this development. Through the ship's sensors, she could see their weapons powering down slightly, the first sign of uncertainty they'd shown. The battle for Hope's Haven was about to begin, but it would be more than just a fight for one medical ship. It would become humanity's introduction to a galaxy far more complex and dangerous than we had imagined. As the ancient warships powered up their systems, patterns of light rippling across their hulls, Sarah realized that everything humanity thought we knew about our history and our place in the cosmos was about to change. The question wasn't whether we would survive this encounter, but what we would learn about ourselves in the process. The Empire had made a crucial mistake. They had assumed Earth was defenseless. They were about to discover just how wrong they were. The ancient warships moved with synchronized precision, their massive forms casting shadows over Hope's Haven. Sarah watched through the medical ship's viewport as streams of data in an unknown language scrolled across her screens. Somehow, these vessels were interfacing with their systems, upgrading their shields and navigational capabilities beyond anything human technology had achieved. "Dr. Chen," James called out, his voice filled with a mix of fear and amazement, "you need to see this." The tactical display showed hundreds of smaller craft emerging from the ancient warships, each one about the size of a fighter jet. They formed intricate geometric patterns in space, creating what appeared to be a defensive grid around the medical facility. The Empire's response was immediate. Their lead vessel launched a barrage of energy weapons, purple beams of destructive force that should have vaporized anything in their path. But the ancient defenders had anticipated this. The geometric pattern of smaller ships pulsed with blue light, and the enemy fire dissipated harmlessly against an energy field unlike anything humanity had ever witnessed. Deep within Hope's Haven, Dr. Lisa Thompson, the ship's xenobiologist, made a startling discovery. The patient's vital signs were showing unusual patterns, not dangerous, but synchronized with the energy signatures from the ancient vessels. "Sarah," she called over the comm, "I think these ships aren't just defending us. They're studying us, learning about all life forms aboard." Through the ship's enhanced sensors, they watched as the Empire's fleet repositioned themselves. Their original formation broke apart, spreading out in what appeared to be a standard attack pattern. But something about their movements seemed hesitant now, almost cautious. They had clearly never encountered these ancient defenders before. Sarah felt the strange connection in her mind growing stronger. Images began flooding her consciousness, glimpses of Earth's distant past, of beings who had walked among early humans, watching, waiting, preparing. They had left these guardians behind not just as protectors, but as teachers. Humanity had never been alone. We had been guided, subtly nurtured toward the stars. "All crew, secure your stations," Sarah announced over the intercom, her voice steady despite the revelation unfolding in her mind. "I don't think this is just about defending us anymore. This is a test, not just of our ability to fight, but of our wisdom to know when not to." The Empire's ships launched a second attack, this time targeting the ancient vessels directly. The response was immediate but measured. The defensive grid of smaller ships rippled, and suddenly the Empire's weapons turned back on themselves, not causing damage but instead creating a feedback loop that forced their systems to power down. James's tactical console lit up with new information. "The ancient ships," he reported, his voice filled with wonder. "They're not just defensive systems. They're carrying something inside them. Data, technology, maybe even knowledge about our own history that we never knew existed." As if confirming his words, one of the ancient vessels moved closer to Hope's Haven, its surface shifting to reveal what appeared to be a docking port that would perfectly match their medical ship's specifications. The invitation was clear, but so were the risks. Whatever secrets these guardians held about humanity's past and potential future, accessing them would mean trusting these unknown protectors completely. Sarah felt the weight of this moment in her bones. The Empire's ships hung motionless now, their initial aggression thwarted but their presence still a threat. The ancient defenders waited silently, their offer of knowledge and protection hanging in the balance. And caught between these two forces was humanity's first interstellar medical ship, its crew about to make a decision that would forever change the course of human history. The docking sequence initiated automatically, the ancient vessel's technology seamlessly guiding Hope's Haven into position. Sarah watched as intricate patterns of light rippled across the massive ship's hull, reminding her of bioluminescent creatures in Earth's deepest oceans. The medical ship's crew held their breath, monitors beeping steadily in the background as they moved closer to the unknown. Through the ship's comm system, a transmission from Earth Defense Command crackled through. Hope's Haven were detecting unprecedented energy signatures. The entire Pacific Ocean's sensor network is going haywire. What's happening up there? The voice belonged to Admiral Chen, Sarah's mother, her tone a mix of professional concern and personal worry. "Mom," Sarah responded, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We're about to make first contact with something that's been waiting for us for a very long time. The Empire's attack. It wasn't random. They knew these defenders were here. They wanted to force them to reveal themselves." As she spoke, the Empire's vessels began moving again, but not to attack. They were forming a larger circle around both Hope's Haven and the ancient ship, their actions suggesting they were settling in for a siege. Whatever was about to happen, they weren't going to let it proceed unobserved. The docking clamps engaged with a soft thud that resonated through the medical ship's hull. Dr. Thompson's voice came urgent over the internal comm. "Sarah, our patients. Their vital signs are all stabilizing, but there's more. Their cellular regeneration rates are increasing. It's like being near this ship is somehow enhancing our medical equipment's effectiveness." James's tactical display suddenly lit up with new data. "Multiple objects launching from the Earth's surface," he reported. "Satellites, orbital platforms, even some of our deep space probes. They're all activating some kind of dormant programming. Whatever these ancient ships are, they're waking up technology we didn't even know we had. The connection in Sarah's mind grew stronger, becoming a clear channel of communication. Images flowed faster now. She saw humanity's first steps into space, but from a different perspective. The ancient guardians had been subtly guiding human technological development, placing markers and clues in our path, waiting for the moment we were ready to understand our true heritage. "We need to go inside," Sarah announced, her decision made. "Dr. Thompson, bring our most critical patients. James, maintain tactical awareness. If the Empire makes any aggressive moves, our new friends won't be the only ones who can fight back." She felt the truth of her words, somehow knowing that humanity's potential was far greater than even these ancient ships suggested. As the airlock cycled, preparing to allow the first human crew to enter the ancient vessel, the Empire launched a new type of attack. Not with weapons, but with information. Data streams bombarded Hope's Haven's communication systems, carrying warnings about the ancient guardians, claiming they were not protectors but parasites, using humanity as pawns in a galaxy-spanning game of conquest. The crew froze at their stations, the weight of the moment pressing down on them. Through the medical ship's viewports, they could see the Empire's ships charging their weapons again, but holding their fire. The ancient defenders maintained their protective formation, their smaller craft still dancing in geometric patterns around them. And beyond all of this, Earth hung in space, blue and beautiful, unknowingly waiting for a decision that would reveal its true place in the galaxy. Sarah stood at the airlock, her hand hovering over the final release control. Behind her, Dr. Thompson prepared their patients for transport, while James monitored the tactical situation from a portable display. The ancient ship waited silently, its secrets about to be revealed. But one question burned in all their minds. Were they about to step into humanity's greatest discovery, or its greatest trap? The airlock doors parted with a soft hiss, revealing a corridor that seemed to breathe with living light. Sarah took the first step inside, the metal under her feet humming with ancient power. The walls pulsed with patterns that somehow felt familiar, as if they were echoing the rhythm of her own heartbeat. Dr. Thompson followed close behind, guiding their most critical patients on hover stretchers adapted to interface with the ancient ship's technology. Suddenly, James's portable tactical display erupted with warnings. "Multiple quantum signatures detected," he called out, his voice tense. "The Empire's ships, they're not just charging weapons. They're calling for reinforcements, massive reinforcements." Through their neural link with the ancient vessel, Sarah saw it too, hundreds of Imperial warships preparing to emerge from hyperspace. But that wasn't what made her blood run cold. The data streaming through her mind revealed something far more terrifying. The Empire wasn't trying to stop them from accessing the ancient ship's knowledge. They were trying to prevent something else. Something that had been hidden in plain sight since the beginning of human civilization. "Sarah," Dr. Thompson's voice shook as she stared at her medical scanner. "The patient's DNA sequences, they're changing. Not being rewritten, but awakening. Like dormant code being activated." The implications hit Sarah like a physical blow. Humanity had never been just another species waiting to join the galactic community. We were something else entirely. Through their strengthening connection with the ancient ship, the truth began to unfold. Earth wasn't just a protected planet. It was a vault, and humanity was its key. Deep within our genetic code lay the accumulated knowledge and technology of a civilization that had foreseen its own end. They hadn't left the warships to protect us. They had hidden them to protect the galaxy from what we might become. The Empire's warning transmission suddenly made horrifying sense. Their attack on Hope's Haven hadn't been an act of aggression. It had been a desperate attempt to prevent what they saw as the greatest threat to galactic peace from awakening. The ancient guardians weren't our protectors. They were our wardens, waiting to determine if humanity would choose wisdom over power. James's display showed the first wave of Imperial reinforcements arriving, their ships emerging from hyperspace like a metallic storm. But something else was happening too. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, more ancient structures were awakening. This time, they weren't ships. They were something far more profound. "They're not just medical readings. Dr. Thompson whispered, her eyes wide as she watched her scanner. The genetic changes, the awakening structures, the Empire's fear, it's all connected. We're not accessing the ancient ship's knowledge. It's accessing us. Sarah felt the truth resonate through her entire being. The choice they faced wasn't about entering the ancient vessel. It was about accepting what humanity had always been meant to become. Through their connection with the ship, she saw glimpses of two possible futures, one where humanity emerged as guardians of life across the galaxy, and another where we became something that even the Empire's worst fears couldn't comprehend. The corridor before them stretched deeper into the ancient ship, its lights pulsing faster now, more urgently. Behind them, Hope's Haven's sensors registered more Imperial ships arriving every second. Earth's defenders maintained their protective formation, but Sarah now understood they weren't just defending against the Empire. They were waiting to see which path humanity would choose. In that moment, standing on the threshold between humanity's past and future, Sarah realized that every medical oath she'd taken, every life she tried to save, had led to this moment. The true test wasn't about accessing ancient knowledge or defending against the Empire. It was about proving that humanity could be trusted with the power that had been hidden within us since the dawn of our species. Time seemed to freeze as Sarah made her decision. With unwavering determination, she stepped further into the ancient vessel, but not toward its command center as the Empire feared. Instead, she walked into what her instincts told her was a medical bay. The Empire had been wrong. Humanity's awakening power wasn't meant for destruction. It was meant for healing. "Dr. Thompson," she called out, her voice steady and clear, "bring the patients here." As they moved the hover stretchers into position, the ancient ship's systems began to resonate with the medical equipment from Hope's Haven. The walls pulsed with a warm, golden light that enveloped everyone in the chamber. Through their neural connection, Sarah understood. The civilization that had created these ships hadn't hidden their weapons within humanity's DNA. They had hidden their greatest achievement, the ability to heal not just bodies, but entire worlds. The Empire had misunderstood everything. James's tactical display showed the Imperial fleet holding position, their weapons charged but not firing. They watched in stunned silence as the genetic changes in the human patients stabilized, creating something entirely new. But it wasn't a weapon. Each person's DNA was becoming a living library of medical knowledge, able to diagnose and heal with a mere touch. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, the awakening structures revealed their true purpose. They weren't weapon platforms, but regeneration centers designed to restore ecosystems and heal planetary wounds. The ancient civilization hadn't chosen Earth as a vault for weapons. They had chosen humanity as inheritors of their healing arts. Suddenly, an Imperial commander appeared on their communication screen, his expression a mix of disbelief and wonder. One of their ships had suffered a catastrophic reactor breach, and the energy readings from the accident were off the charts. Without hesitation, Sarah knew what to do. She reached out through the ancient ship's systems, extending an offer of help. The Empire's response was immediate and unexpected. Their weapons powered down, and the damaged ship was allowed to drift closer. Sarah felt the combined power of Hope's Haven's medical technology and the ancient ship's systems flow through her. The genetic changes that had awakened in humanity weren't just about personal healing. They could repair any form of damage, from human tissue to starship hulls. As the healing energy enveloped the Imperial vessel, something remarkable happened. The ancient ship shared one final truth. The civilization that had created these guardians hadn't vanished. They had evolved, seeding their knowledge across thousands of worlds, waiting for species that would choose to heal rather than harm. Humanity had just become the first to pass their test. The Imperial fleet began to withdraw, not in defeat, but in recognition. The galaxy had feared the awakening of Earth's ancient powers, never imagining that the greatest weapon of all would be the choice to heal rather than destroy. Hope's Haven had lived up to its name in ways no one could have predicted. But as Sarah stood in the ancient medical bay, watching the golden light work its miracles, she felt one last revelation surface through the neural link. The genetic changes weren't finished spreading. Through Earth's quantum communication network, through the very connections that bound humanity together, the healing knowledge was spreading. Not everyone would manifest it the same way, but every human being would now have the capacity to help restore life wherever they found it. The Empire's original warning had been right about one thing. Humanity's awakening would change the galaxy forever, but not through conquest or destruction. As the first of many Earth medical ships prepared to launch from their hidden bays beneath the oceans, Sarah realized that humanity's true destiny was to become the guardians not of ancient weapons, but of life itself. The stars above were no longer a frontier to be conquered, but a community waiting to be healed. And somewhere, in the vast depths of space, other civilizations were watching, waiting for their own awakening, their own chance to prove that they too could be trusted with the power to heal worlds. In the weeks that followed, Hope's Haven became more than just Earth's first interstellar medical ship. It became a symbol of humanity's new role in the galaxy. The ancient vessel, which they now called the Lightbringer, remained docked with them, its systems seamlessly integrated with their medical facilities as they began training the first wave of healing-gifted humans. Sarah stood at her familiar spot on the observation deck, but the view had changed dramatically. Where once there had been empty space, now dozens of ships from various species orbited Europa. Some came seeking healing, others offering knowledge and friendship. The Empire's ships remained too, not as adversaries but as guardians, helping to manage the flow of vessels arriving from across the galaxy. Dr. Thompson's research had revealed something remarkable about humanity's awakened abilities. Each person's healing gift manifested differently. Some could repair physical injuries, others could restore damaged ecosystems, and a few, like Sarah, could even heal the quantum fabric of spacecraft. It wasn't unlimited power, but rather a deep connection to life itself, requiring wisdom and understanding to use properly. Earth's oceans had revealed their final secrets. The ancient regeneration centers were now training facilities, where humans from all walks of life came to understand their newfound abilities. But more importantly, they learned when not to use them. Healing wasn't about erasing every imperfection, but about helping life find its natural balance. James had taken on a new role, coordinating with the Empire's peacekeeping forces to ensure that Earth's healing knowledge wouldn't be misused. The ancient guardians had been right. Power without wisdom could destroy civilizations, but wisdom without compassion could be equally dangerous. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in the genetic gifts we'd inherited, but in our choice to use them for the benefit of all. Admiral Chen's voice came through Sarah's personal comm, warm with pride. "The first wave of new medical ships is ready to launch," she announced, each one crewed by both humans and Imperial personnel. "We're calling it the Hope's Legacy Project." Sarah smiled, watching as the massive vessels rose from Earth's oceans, their designs blending human innovation with ancient wisdom. The patients who had been with them during the awakening had chosen to stay aboard Hope's Haven, helping to teach others about their experience. Their stories became testament to the truth that healing was about more than just repairing damage. It was about fostering understanding between different species and cultures. As Sarah prepared for their next mission, she felt the familiar resonance of the Lightbringer's systems, now a constant companion in her mind. The ancient civilization's final gift hadn't been the power to heal, but the understanding that true strength lies in choosing to help others, even former enemies, especially when given the power to do otherwise. The stars above Earth shone brighter now, not with the light of conquest or competition, but with the promise of cooperation and growth. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy not by building bigger weapons or stronger shields, but by proving that the ability to heal was the greatest power of all. "Hope's Haven, you're cleared for departure," came the control tower's message. Sarah gave the command, and their ship, forever joined with the Lightbringer, moved gracefully away from Europa. Ahead of them lay countless worlds, each with their own wounds to heal and lessons to teach. The Empire's ships formed an honor guard around them, their former adversaries now their strongest allies in maintaining the delicate balance between power and wisdom. As they entered hyperspace, Sarah realized that this wasn't just an ending. It was a beginning. Humanity's journey among the stars would always carry the echo of that first choice made aboard an ancient vessel, the choice to heal rather than harm, to build rather than destroy, to embrace the complexity of life in all its forms. The galaxy's greatest fears had been transformed into its greatest hope, one healing touch at a time.